Good day to all the casuals and elitists alike. I am Dot9151, presenting to you Part 2 Endgame of my Fire Emblem 10 hard mode 0% gross playthrough. And to help me present this tense conclusion to this part of the game is KirbymastaH.
Hello!
So I think many casuals love this map. It is the climax of Part 2, the culmination of this little subplot that's going on with Elincia. One of the noblemen in Crimea, Ludveck, is leading a rebellion against her, and we have to quash it without mercy. There's a lot of tension in this map, there's a lot of enemies, the story backdrop is perfect. But I'm a notorious hater of this chapter because it can be very easily trivialized. I'm not going to go over that too much in this chapter because it's pretty short. I will say though, in the base, we are making some preparations for Part 3. We're basically emptying as much of the Crimean inventory as we can, and putting them in characters that are going to show up in Ike's group. Specifically, Heather, Nephne, Braum, and Haar are going to reappear in 3-2, and Mordecai and Lethe are going to reappear in 3-4. So all the valuable items, like Lucia's Silver Sword, Kieran's Silver Axe, and the Hammer and the Horse Slayer that we got in Chapter 2-3 are going to go with them.
This is a 15-turn defend map, which can just be trivialized by camping Elincia on the siege tile and ending turn over and over again. But this map also has an alternative clear condition, which is to defeat Ludveck, the boss. Those of you familiar with LTCs and or speedruns of this game know that this map can be cleared in just one turn. The one turn for a 0% gross context is either incredibly inconsistent or requires giving hard speed wings, which we don't want to do here. Dondon will have more details in this video's description. A one turn also deprives us of some valuable resources, which includes an energy drop, a Nullify scroll, which negates effective damage, and a Dracoshield, which is why we're settling for a 2-turn clear. The energy drop is dropped by a Armor Knight in the lower right area, the Nullify scroll is dropped by a General in the lower left area near Marcia, and the Dracoshield is a stealable item from a General near Ludveck's position. Since the Dracoshield has to be stolen, the majority of our deployed units are dedicated to setting up this rescue chain for Heather to steal it on turn 2.
There are a couple of bizarre things that I did on turn 1 player phase which deserve explanation. The first thing was that Calill, a fire sage returning from Path of Radiance, attacked a door with Meteor, helping the enemies break it down. This was done so that the energy drop Armor Knight will flow upwards in the map instead of leftwards, and by doing so he exposes himself instead of hiding behind some of his allies, so that we can attack him at one range on the next turn. Haar also dropped a poor yellow halberdier on the bottom level. This is in order to bait out the boss, Ludveck. He gets conveniently two-shot by a combination of Ludveck and an enemy halberdier with a height advantage, and they also have pretty high accuracy on him. So because Ludveck moves so early in the turn, this prevents all the other enemies on the bottom tier from moving around and messing things up. Lastly, Marcia had a pretty dicey enemy phase where she got attacked by an archer with effective damage. She has to dodge either that archer or a Thunder Sage, which is pretty reliable if the Thunder Sage has poor biorhythm. She also had to dodge the enemy Axe General with a Nullify scroll, but because she has height advantage, she gets plus 50 hit and avoid. In addition to plus 2 attack, we forgot to mention that earlier in 1-5, this plus 2 attack is essential for allowing her to 6-shot that general and kill him in 3 rounds of combat.
Elincia also took a huge hit from an archer, but she circumvented an even bigger hit from the Bogan warrior, who would one-hit KO her from full HP. Some enemies are thankfully scripted to prioritize destroying breakable objects, and this warrior is one of them. We're doing a huge rescue chain to pass Heather over to Elincia, who will then drop Heather into the lower level where Ludveck is. We're also doing a lot of shoves on Leanne. Unlike Raphael, she can fly, but she still has the same low movement stat as Raphael, so she needs 4 tiles of shoves from Lelucci, Mordecai, and Nephne to reach. Marcia wasn't present in this map's base preps, and she's still carrying the Speedwing from Chapter 2-3, which we want in Ike's group, so Braum is taking her Speedwing, but we are keeping the Brave Lance and the Nullify scroll in this group to prepare for Chapter 3-9. Leanne refreshed Elincia and Heather, who respectively grabbed the energy drop and will steal the Dracoshield. We didn't bait the Dracoshield General, but this isn't a problem because Heather has the past skill.
After we've gotten everything that we need out of this chapter, Haar is able to swoop in and bonk Ludveck with a hammer for a clean kill, which Calill helped to set up with the Meteor chip. This prevents us from having to rely on any low percent shenanigans. Haar took the energy drop off Elincia so that we could use it ASAP, and that concludes Chapter 2 Endgame in 2 turns. After which I skipped one of Iridian Dawn's classic FMV sequences, featuring unforgettable voice-acted lines by Rolf and Mia. But I will see you in the next chapter, and KirbymastaH will be back much later.
See you in 3-9.